ABC Sports and the United States Golf Association proudly present the final round of the 1989 United States Women's Open Golf Championship. Welcome to the final round of the 44th Women's Open, being played on the green and brown hills of the Indianwood Golf and Country Club, an almost forgotten treasure whose fairways knew the tread of Gene Sarazen, Tommy Armour, and Walter Hagen in other years. This is the exurbia of Detroit, the city that is home to the automobile, Tiger Stadium, and the characters of Elmore Leonard novels. But we could be 1,000 miles away from the industrial ambience of the city here in this golfing oasis. This is how the competition stands at the moment. Betsy King taking a 3-shot lead over Patty Sheehan. Both were tied after the third round last evening. Lori Garbassi is 5 shots behind the lead. Nancy Lopez now has gone to +1. And the big story so far of the day, 2 of them, Ayaka Okamoto was +9 when she began this day. At the 14th, she was now 6 under for the day with this putt. That put her 7 under for the day, going for a new record, but she bogeyed the 18th hole and shot a brilliant 65, however, which ties the single round for the United States Women's Open. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this 4th and final round. It's been an upscale week here at Lake Orion, Michigan. Everybody's been in a good mood. We have a terrific competition, and I think we've had a manifestation that this boom of golf that's going on around the world has swept up the women's game as well. Women's golf is on the move in Europe and Asia and here in the United States as more younger players, good players, keep coming on to the LPGA Tour. And that can only make the competition keener and the game better. We sometimes wonder, however, if these young women professionals realize that women's golf in 1989 didn't just happen. It started a long time ago, over 40 years ago, with some hard work and sacrifice by people like Patty Berg and Betsy Rawls and Louise Suggs and men like Fred Corcoran and David Foster. And that is why, because of people like that some young woman today is going to receive $80,000 first prize money. That, incidentally, is $14,000 more than Babe Zaharias won in her entire career. Without those people, none of us might not be here on this Sunday afternoon. We're glad you are, and I know, Dave Marr, you're glad you're here.
I am, Jack, because anytime you mention the words United States Open, I get excited. It's not only a test of how well someone can play, but when you come to an open course like Indianwood and you see the tall fescue rough and the bunkering and the look of a Scottish course that this has, it's a test of the character of the player, and you find out what you're made of. None of the top 5 players there have ever won a U.S. Open. Tonight, one of those ladies is going to be very happy and more than likely win her first U.S. Open. But until she can conquer not only the golf course, but her nerves and the excruciating pain of being in the lead, will we have a winner. And, Jack, I always look forward to these major championships.
All right, David, Ron and Glenn, you're here with us, and we're delighted to have you. It must be a great week for you. We have had a very exemplary leaderboard all week.
Yes, we have, Jack. We have some truly exciting players. It was interesting to note, however, after yesterday's third round, that Betsy King was saying she was totally exhausted. She has been in contention for 5.5 weeks, and perhaps that strain will show later this afternoon. Meanwhile, Patty Sheehan, the other American player at the top of the leaderboard, now at 3 under par, Patty, too, has been suffering from an illness. She's had a cold all week and was very tired at the end of the round. I expect this to show up toward the end of this final round. And an interesting note here is that Betsy King is +5 on the final 4 holes, where Patty Sheehan is even par. So it should come down to the wire. Meanwhile, Marie-Laure de Lorenzo de Taille, the French player from Spain, could become the second French player in history to win this U.S. Women's Open and once again take the crown to Europe, as it has gone for the last 2 years. So we've got an exciting day, Jack.
Oh, indeed we have. Let's take a look at one of the stars of the week, the golf course.
No doubt about that, Jack. 76 years old and designed by that wonderful player and golf course architect, Wilfred Reed. Of course, you see the bent grass tees and greens there, and fairways, rather. The rough, which we'll be talking a lot about, rye, and the fescue. Fescue is the tall grass from a foot to 2 feet tall. It's the tan color that you see, and you better stay out of that, Jack.
Pretty to look at, but not pretty to be in. Let's meet our on-the-course commentators, and we'll begin with Judy Rankin.
Thank you, Jack. I'll be on the golf course today with Nancy Lopez and Donna Cassano Wilkins. Nancy, a veteran with some 40 wins, would really like to win this week. I think she probably wants this as much as she's ever wanted a tournament. She opened with a birdie this morning, but hasn't been able to duplicate that in the early going. And Donna Cassano Wilkins, she's played very well the first 3 rounds. Her name isn't found in any record books, but she's trying to make a name for herself this week. Now let's go to Ed Sneed.
I'll be with the twosome of Marie-Laure de Lorenzo de Taya and Colleen Walker. Now, Marie-Laure de Lorenzo de Taya is playing in her first United States Open, and she's making a great tournament of it. Colleen Walker finished 3rd last year. She was in the lead in the final round. If the leader slips, these 2 players will be waiting and are well capable of taking the championship. Let's go back to Jack Whitaker.
Okay, Ed, thank you. We're looking at Patty Sheehan. She is at the 8th hole where she knocked it out of bounds. She has this putt for a double bogey, which would drop her 5 shots behind Betsy King, who has all the room in the world now. Oh, this will be a triple bogey.
That is disastrous at this time in the round. Really, the one player, it looks as though she could keep a little heat on Betsy King at the moment.
Goes now to even par. Here's her second shot that she hit out of bounds. Down, you just see her head popping up every now and again down that hill. There it goes, out of bounds, and that led to the triple bogey, which has dropped her now to even par, 6 shots behind the leader, with whom she was tied, and the day started. Now let's go to Bob Rosberg and Jerry Pate.
Thank you, Jack. Bob Rosberg and I will be with the last group of the day, Patty Sheehan and Betsy King. There's no question the most noticeable aesthetic feature of this golf course has been the long, tall, fescue grasses. The soil and weather conditions here in Detroit are very similar to the conditions you find on the famous British golf courses, and it has the same length look. Although this rough is very penal, there's no question that people are enjoying this aesthetic beauty very much, Rossi.
We'll be with 2 of the best players in the world, Jerry, and it's a shame to see Betsy get off to such a great start and kind of open up a big lead. She birdied 4 of the first 7 holes along with 1 bogey, and now that Patty has made 7 at the 8th hole, it's kind of turned into a 1-horse race. Now back to Jack Whitaker.
Okay, Bob, 9th tee, and the leader by 5 at the moment. But as you know, things can happen quickly. We just saw Patty Sheehan slip. Betsy King with 3 over in the last 2 holes coming home yesterday. And now Lori Garbisi and Detea have moved into a tie for 2nd place at 1 under, 5 shots behind Betsy King.
I have to say, this is not a long hole, 339 that you see, but there's a boundary on the right side, and to the left side you can get in that fescue, a hole that really pulled up Lopez short on Friday's round. She was a couple under par coming to here and knocked the ball out of bounds and made 6. So even though it's short, a dangerous hole.
In the fairway. So Betsy King at the moment leads by 5 shots. The interior of the new Tudor-style clubhouse here at Indianwood is like nothing we've seen before in golf. Owner Stan Aldrich is a collector of European antiques. Suits of armor, for example. If your taste runs to stained glass, reflect on Henry VIII with his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. These windows were originally in an old English manor house. The Indianwood Clubhouse also includes a staircase from the Horse Guard stables at Windsor Castle and a 19th century bar that once was in an Edinburgh pub.
Golf can be a lonely game. It's just you out there against the course and your opponent. But all that changes when you are a member of a team representing your country. Then you are carrying your team and your country's hopes.
There's a great feeling of goodwill and sportsmanship when you're playing in the Curtis Cup match or in the World Amateur Team Championships. I know I will never forget the thrill of representing the United States in international competition.
I guess that thrill will stay with you no matter how old you get. Playing on the Curtis Cup and the World Amateur Team was something I'll always remember, especially in my later years.
Hey, wait a minute.
The preceding message was brought to you by the USGA, which sponsors the U.S. teams in international competition.
The U.S. Women's Open Championship, brought to you by USF&G Financial Services, asset management for a brave new world. By Michelob, one taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. And by Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Ninth fairway, and the leader, Betsy King.
That was from 150 yards with a 7-iron.
Oh, just carried the bunker and spun back. She had it right on line, but it hit awful soft.
Colleen Walker in that same green at 9 a moment ago for a birdie. Colleen is 3 over today.
Talking to a lot of people this morning, Jack, a lot of people thought she had a very good chance to win, especially after playing so well last year.
Lori Garbisi now at the 12th hole. The par 5.
Well, she's got a good lie there. This should not be a difficult shot. She's a very fine player. Finally won her first tournament this year, Tucson. She didn't look as though she had a good lie. All right, Lori.
Glorious, glorious. Garbisi in second place by herself at the moment and going to improve on it.
Lori has a new attitude this year. She's much more relaxed. She's always been a very intense and emotional player on the golf course, has been known to toss a club or two, and she discovered that was hurting her game, and that it's a little bit better to be patient and try to keep your emotions intact. It seems to be paying off for her.
Now, a moment ago at 9, Patty Sheehan, second shot. Right by Betsy King's ball.
Almost the same kind of shot. You might be a little intimidated by that hole because the clubhouse is so close to the back of the green there.
This is Jane Geddes for a birdie at 12.
Jane Geddes is a former U.S. Women's Open champion. We saw her win under extreme weather conditions in Dayton, Ohio in the playoff with Sally Little. Very strong young player. Hits a 4-iron about 200 yards. Not bad for a woman golfer, I'd say. Certainly having a great week. She was very serious this week, very intense, and wanted very much to win. 7 shots out of the lead. She'll have to turn it on fast.
That way! Oh, stupid.
Intensity, David?
Well, Open brings that out in you.
That's the thing about this championship. You win 1, it can make your career. You win 2, and it's a lifetime of tournament success.
Up at 9, the leader, and it is her tournament now to win or lose. No question about that. A 4-shot lead over Lori Garbisi at the moment. If you think things don't happen quickly, Detea, who was right up there, just triple bogeyed the 11th hole.
This putt's from about 30 feet uphill. These greens have a tremendous amount of break here at Indianwood. Should break big from right to left.
Nice and smooth. Rhonda Glenn spoke with Betsy yesterday. Here's what she had to say.
Betsy, when the heat is on in the final few holes of this championship, walking down the fairway, you might be in contention for the lead. How does that affect you? Does the fact that it's the U.S. Women's Open motivate you at all?
Well, I think you realize that everybody's a little bit nervous in that situation, and I think what you try to do is just go with whatever you need to do at that time. Take it 1 shot at a time. I really think a lot of mechanics when I play, which I think a lot of people don't do, but once I know the kind of shot I want to hit and where I want to hit the ball, when I get over it, I'm thinking mechanics, and if I can do that, it usually takes care of a little bit of that fear.
That's a very good tip for all players there from Betsy King.
Patty Sheehan at 9.
Very much the same line as Betsy King from about 30 feet uphill, right to left breaker. Well, a little tentative there. These greens are just about all saucer shaped in design, meaning the sides and the back are higher, and they slope in towards the middle.
Nancy Lopez at the 11th. She is +2, +1 today.
Just coming off a bogey at the 10th hole, Jack, after a poor drive to the right.
This is Ditaya at the 10th hole. It was the 9th hole that she triple bogeyed, taking 4 putts. I mean, it's like disappearing into a black hole here, isn't it? You just go off the leaderboard and nobody knows what happened to you. This was Colleen Walker a moment ago. Now Betsy King at 9 for par. That was moving fast to the right, wasn't it?
For just a second, it looked a little scary, Jack.
We'll return with more golf action from the 1989 United States Women's Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC station. Final round of the United States Women's Open Golf Championship at the Indianwood Golf and Country Club. Betsy King, 4 shots over Lori Garbisi at the moment, only 2 players under par. At the 13th, 204-yard par 3, Lori Garbisi.
Get a shot.
This is a hole where she's hit a couple of bad shots, Jack. If you remember on Friday, she made a wonderful par from the left side, and yesterday hit another big hook to the left and made a bogey there.
Very long par 3 hole, longer than most of these players see on the LPGA Tour. Over 204 yards, usually plays about 210, 211.
Well, that's the best of the week for her on this hole.
And a very nice time to do it.
Now, a moment ago, the leader at 10.
Fine driving hole with water on the left and 30-some-odd bunkers to the right there.
Here's Jane Geddes at the par 3 13th.
As I said, she hits a 4-iron about 200 yards, so it's possible that's what she has in her hand, maybe a 3.
Get right there. Get in. Get up there. Get up there.
Michael in the hole.
It's very close.
Boy, these girls can talk to that golf ball, can't they?
They can hit their golf ball, too.
Don't count her out. We've got some tough finishing holes coming up. If she knocks that in, and she'll be even par. She knows how to win this championship. She did it once before.
Let me ask you a question. Why does she have 2 earrings in one ear, 2 studs, and none in the other one? Is that a new style, Rhonda?
Yes, it's fashion, so-called.
Betsy King is at the 10th.
As I said, it's an important driving hole, especially Betsy King, who's just got to think now of fairways and greens, not to do anything stupid. You can see the bunkering on the right, which catches a lot of drives off the 18th tee, and of course the lake down the left side you see there to a green that's well bunkered. Deep bunkers there at the 10th hole. Green sits up a little bit. Not a real long hole. One, though, that you got to watch where you put your second shot.
Patty Sheehan.
Patty's 145 yards from the hole, laid up on the left-hand side. Pretty good angle because the pin is left and everything rolls down to the left, so she can hit it into the middle of the green. Let it funnel down to the hole.
Get up there. Get hole.
Kick right. You can see how that goes left, and anything to the left of the hole is death. That ball kicked way down to the left of the green.
Well, she might have to take more chances than Betsy King, though. I mean, a player like Patty Sheehan, Bob, I feel she's going to have to be a lot more aggressive back here, and that can lead to either low scores or high scores.
Betsy's 125 yards, hit a perfect drive. She's a little more to the right, so she'll have to play it to the right center of the green. Let it come on down. A little too aggressive.
Birdie 2 for Geddes. Moves her to even par along with Pat Bradley and Dottie Mockery. Now Lori Garbisi, her playing partner, what a dynamic duo that is. Has this to go 3 under. And just 3 shots behind Betsy King.
Just enough to maybe get Betsy's attention there, even though Betsy's a seasoned player. We talk about that she hasn't won the Open before. She did finish just a stroke behind when Jane Geddes beat Sally Little in the playoff in Dayton. Rhonda talked about her attitude changing. Of course, your first win is a big boost to you, and she's won almost $120,000 this year, so she's got her purse full.
Lori Garbisi is a very aggressive player all the time, and I'm not surprised that she's already 3 under par in this final round.
As you can see, it's going to break to her right.
All right, Rhonda spoke with Lori yesterday. Here's what she had to say.
Lori, when you're out on the golf course, will you be aware that this is the Women's Open Championship? And if so, how will you cope with that?
No, it doesn't mean anything to me. No big deal. I'm Joe Isuzu, too. I'm lying. It would mean a lot, and it's a feeling that you can't put into words the thrill that you have. Your nervous system just is somewhere where it's never been before, and the crowd cheers, and the adrenaline's flowing, and it's just like nothing else there is. It's why you play the game.
Indeed, it's why you play the game. As we look at the defending champion cutting out at 18. Finishing at +6, 290. Now back at 10, Betsy King. Oh, lovely touch.
Good nerves.
Now to Taya at the 11th.
Sit down.
Not bad from there, Jack, and I'm really impressed with her. I hope she gets a chance to play in this country a little more, because she's certainly, it's only her third tournament in the United States, and she's already having a heck of an open.
So the leader for par, 10.
One point about Betsy King, she said yesterday when she got a 3-shot lead that she would try to play more aggressively. And when she did that, she had a couple of bogeys coming in. So it's hard to say whether she learned from that and will change her strategy today, now with a 4-stroke lead, whether she'll play more conservatively and try to protect it.
14th tee. That looks very good.
Good swing.
Patty Sheehan.
Yeah, you got one of those devilish little shots there at the 10th hole, and she just tried to get a little cute with it. You almost have to play a what the old timers would call a caddy type shot.
Well, on Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports will have the Clown Princes of Basketball, the Harlem Globetrotters in Sydney, Australia, to put on their display of magic, plus continuing coverage of cycling's greatest event, the Tour de France. All Saturday, beginning at 4:30 Eastern on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
You can see her front nine there in that killer 7 at the 8th hole. I ask you a question, Jack. Is there somewhere the Globetrotters have not played?
I think on the moon, but they may be there soon. What a group.
Go.
Oh, what a fine gallon putt, Patty.
Yeah, with each one of those, though, her chance is just a little farther away from the leader.
Up at the 12th, par 5, where she eagled yesterday. Here's Nancy Lopez.
Playing a 3-wood with 215 yards to the front edge of the green.
Be good.
Well, she turned that ball left.
Nancy's been a little bit dizzy this week. She went to the hospital Friday night because she had some dizziness, took some medication, felt that hurt her more than helped her, and said she'd rather play with a dizzy feeling in her head today, so that might be causing her some problems.
The 11th hole, where Betsy King will be.
Nice short par 4. You can see the driving area there, the bunkers in play. And characteristic of Indian Wood, the second shot, if you've gotten it in the fairway all right, the second shot uphill to a green where the flag today, as you saw earlier, is on the front left part of the green. Not an easy shot to get close to the pin today.
Here's how it's played all week. 20 others. The leader.
That's a big tee shot down the left side of the fairway. This slope from right to left. And boy, is that long. About 275 yards or more.
Think she's a little fired up, Jerry?
She's pumped, David. Should be. This also a big tee shot. Didn't quite get the bounce that Betsy had, but big off the tee. These girls are really hitting it.
All right, we're going to have some of the marvelous wisdom of Bobby Jones now as he tells us about the downswing.
One of the most difficult things for the average golfer to do is to keep the club from moving over to the outside and coming across the line of flight as he hits the ball. This happens when the downswing is started with the hands or when the hips begin to turn before the flow of weight has started back to the left foot. The result is either a bad slice if the face of the club is open when it hits the ball, or a pull or smothered hook if it is turned over too soon. By starting the downswing with a movement of the hips and by dropping the right elbow back to the side of the body, the correct swing keeps the club well inside the line of play. This is the only position from which it is possible to swing through straight toward the hole. After the first forward shift of the hips, the body begins to unwind, and the right elbow remains close to the side of the body. The left hip continues to lead the turn and exert its pull through the left arm to the hands and club. The player who uses his hands as a means of beginning the downswing arrives at the point where he's ready to let go and suddenly discovers he has nothing left to hit with. His swing has lost its stinger. With the wrists already straightened out, he must make the effort with his arms and shoulders.
Jack, that's the biggest mistake that the average player makes is hitting with his hands from the top. That is a very good tip for everybody watching.
Lori Garbisi back here in the final round of the United States Women's Open Championship. Lori 4 shots out of the lead in second place.
Beat a stick.
That's it.
Once again, firm greens at this Open Championship, as always, unlike some of the greens on the regular LPGA Tour, which are soft and hold.
Back at 11, Patty Sheehan.
Patty Sheehan's 100 yards from the hole. Ball slightly above her feet, slightly downwind.
Right. Help him out.
Pin just 11 steps on the
7
green.
left.
Oh, and that was not a good shot there, Rossi.
Everything's kind of gone all of a sudden, Jerry.
Well, you start leaving wedge shots short from 100 yards, you know you've lost your momentum. You just don't accelerate. You get sloppy. You lose your momentum.
Betsy King.
As Jerry said, she hit a tremendous drive. She's got 75 yards to the flag.
My goodness.
86, 68, 68 and 11, 79. 6.
What's the total again?
79. It's good if you stay a little below it. Yeah, no.
Betsy King has won 18 tournaments in the last 5 years, certainly a great record, but hasn't won a major.
May all change by sundown today. Here's she in the caddy at 79 yards.
Oh boy, that green is firm, but still a good shot. She couldn't play with being short on this hole. You don't want to be short with a pin right on the front left.
Well, Jerry, she's a seasoned enough player. I mean, won 4 times this year on the tour and the leading money winner this year. Just put the ball on the green and trust your putting to 2-putt. Then the others have to come catch her.
At 14, Jane Geddes. Oh, very close. Garbisi missed her birdie attempt. Now back at 12 a moment ago, or up at 12. Lopez for birdie. And that put her at +1. Now Garbisi for a par at 14. A little tester.
Jack, she had a very, very difficult first putt from the back edge of the green. It had a lot of break.
Yes. Nancy Lopez at the 13th.
And that was a 3-iron Nancy hit to this 204-yard hole.
Going to be very good.
I tell you,
going to be in.
She just saw a leaderboard at the 12th green, and I think she knows that patience now goes out the window.
Yeah.
You have to make birdies.
Fire, huh? Fire and fall back.
Some wonderful long iron play on this hole.
There's the story. Betsy King by 4 over Lori Garbisi. And then it's 2 more back to Pat Bradley, Jane Geddes. And now Nancy Lopez is about to join that group at even par. Good scores today. A 65 by Okamoto with a bogey at the last hole. A 66 by Laura Davis with a double bogey at the last hole.
Laura Davies teed off on the first hole and said she planned to shoot 61 today, and it looked for a while like she might.
Almost had a 64.
But she got out in 31 with a bogey at the 4th hole. That's good playing. I don't care what kind of golf course you're on.
That's perfect speed. Pat Bradley. There's a group at even par.
Another former U.S. Women's Open champion, now back to her form after having a problem with thyroid. And what a good round she has going today. 2 under par for the day. Even par for the tournament, coming up to the very difficult 4 finishing holes.
Good round of 68 yesterday by the all-time leading money winner on the LPGA Tour with $2.7 million. Good to see her playing well again.
Long par 5, 520 yards. That's a 3-shotter. I don't think even Laura Davies could reach this one in 2.
15th, par 5, Lori Garbisi.
Jack, she's hitting dead against the wind here. This hole is playing very long.
So Betsy King with a par at the 11th hole remains at 6 under, 4 shots ahead of Lori Garbisi. And 6 shots ahead of Pat Bradley, Jane Geddes, and Dottie Mockery. While we were away, Pat Bradley for the birdie at 15. Yes, 3 under for the day. She now moves to 1 under. And a moment ago, Betsy King at the par 5 12th.
That ball's going down the right side. Going to catch the long rough.
In the fescue?
I think so. Rossi's over there.
Well, the only good news about that is that it is a short par 5, as you see. If you do miss, the right side is where you want to go with those bunkers there. To the left is a lake. Obviously, you don't want to drive it in the water where you'd have to drop a ball and take a penalty shot. Very narrow hole to a green with bunkers in front there. Just one little runway up there. Again, a green that's sloped quite a bit from back to front. We've seen a lot of birdies here, some eagles. We've seen some bogeys and double bogeys.
Nancy Lopez at 14. She made the birdie at the other hole. She has gone to even par.
1 under for the day.
Here was the putt after that magnificent tee shot she struck. Pat Bradley's birdie moved her ahead of the group at even par. So we have some words of wisdom now from Frank Hannigan.
You know those lists of 100 best or greatest golf courses that the golf magazines like to run when they run out of ideas for contradictory golf instructional articles? Well, Old Indianwood is about to join that elite group of courses. Indianwood, 66 years old and totally unknown except to a few folks out in Michigan, has been discovered nationally this week, and a star is born. Indianwood has the intriguing look of Shinnecock Hills or prairie dunes out in Kansas, ribbons of green fairways set off by the contrast of wild-looking rough grasses way out on the side. But it's what's been left out of Indianwood that makes it so appealing. There are none of those phony-looking little ponds that block the entrances of greens in so much of American golf course architecture today. But above all, it's the relative absence of trees that makes Indianwood what it is. In American golf, we suffer from what a wise man called the Arboretum syndrome. Some of our best courses are being transformed into forests so that you can't see the sky and the land. And I'm thinking of Wingfoot, Medina, and even Oak Hill, where the Open was played recently. So here's to Indianwood, relatively barren, with wonderful vistas, the way golf ought to be.
And in that deep, brown, beautiful-looking but treacherous grass, the leader.
The ball is sitting up, but it's well above her feet. This is a very dangerous shot. I don't think she ought to try and get too greedy and hit it too far. That's a good play. That ball's going to be in the fairway.
And she can get home from there, Bob?
Oh, yes, yes. She hit it about 100 yards out of there, which was very good.
Colleen Walker at the 13th tee.
Colleen Walker, I'm surprised to see, has fallen this far back. Of the 3 players at the lead today, she seemed the most calm before she teed off. Betsy King and Patty Sheehan were both very nervous this morning, and Betsy, in fact, said she'd rather play in Colleen's position today.
Lori Garbisi. All right, safely on as Betsy King has a 4-shot lead over Lori and 5 over Pat Bradley. Only one golfer won the same national championship in the United States 6 times. Glenna Collett-Vare was the female counterpart of Bobby Jones during America's golden age of sport during the 1920s. Mrs. Vare won the Women's Amateur Championship 6 times. The Ladies PGA honors Glen Vare by its annual award of the Vare Trophy to the player with the lowest scoring average for the year. Nancy Lopez is in the lead in 1989. We are back, and while we were away, Betsy King's 3rd shot at the par 5 12th. Boy, she got off on her left side on that shot, didn't she?
Yeah, she had to have a little bit of a downhill line and threw it that way, but that's the correct way to move toward your target.
Pat Bradley in 3rd place, 1 shot behind Lori Garbisi. The top three are all 3 under par today, having good rounds.
From Pat's position on that fairway, she cannot see the top of the flagstick. There's a lot of elevation there, but you have to go to the top of the hill and get a line on it.
So he's coming up now? Bradford? Yeah. He's 1 on 2.
Boy, she hit some beautiful shots.
Pretty good blind shot.
Well, Tommy Armour once said, though, there are no blind shots after you've played a course once. And, you know, there's a lot of logic in what Armour said there.
Make it 200. We'll find somebody to bet.
So that should tie Pat Bradley with Lori Garbisi at 2 under. As Lori has this for par up at 15. Yes. Penny Hamill is 3 under today. Dottie Mockery is 4 under today. They're both at even par. And Nancy Lopez at even par, 1 under today.
Hit the ball over the back of the green here at 14, Jack. She flew the ball all the way to the back edge of the green after hitting a big drive right down the middle of the fairway. This little chip coming back is straight downhill. Very fast. She just wants to land the ball on the green. Let the slope feed the ball to the hole.
Come on. That's good.
Nicely done. Jane Geddes, 16.
Right now, Jack, the wind's blowing left to right. Should help the players on this tee shot, as it will help them turn the ball into this dogleg right. As long as Jane Geddes is, she's got to be careful not to hit it through the fairway. She may choose a club less than a driver here. Might not be a bad shot.
Looks like she's got it teed rather low, Ed, so it probably is some sort of fairway wood.
Get down,
ball. Nice shot.
Betsy King.
Go.
She's making calm pars, isn't she?
Just exactly what she needs to do.
Garbisi. Come out.
Maybe.
Well, it's right on the edge. It's just barely in the high grass. It looks pretty good from here. I think she may have a shot.
Now Lopez for par. Now Pat Bradley. This would be for birdie to tire with Lori Garbisi.
Of the top 8 players on the leaderboard, 3 are former Open champions, Pat Bradley, Jane Geddes, and Laura Davies, which proves that once you learn how to play this championship, it's a little bit easier coming in.
Pat moves to 4 under on the day. tied with Garbisi in second place, 4 shots behind Betsy King. And here is Betsy.
Par 3 today, playing with a wind just a hair out of the right, blowing very, very little low. Pin's kind of off the right-hand side of this green, so you don't want to miss to the right here.
Boy, that's all over the pin there. Oh, beautiful shot.
Right, Rhonda spoke with Betsy yesterday, and let's listen to more of that.
Betsy, you have always been a sort of reserved and quiet person. Now you're getting an awful lot of attention from the media and from the galleries. How does that affect you?
Well, I think I'm used to it. I've been out here for a number of years, and I'm accustomed to that. I think for me, the hardest thing is just learning to manage my time. I think sometimes I feel a little bit pulled in a lot of directions. You're trying to please everybody, and you get to the point that there's just no way you can do that. And I think that's probably the hardest part about having all the notoriety.
Jane Geddes.
Come on, a little more.
That's about 155 yards coming out of the rough. And the ball did not have much spin on it, as you could see it run through the green. It did not hold the green. Lori Garbisi is in the edge of the high rough, and she has a swing. The ball is sitting up, and the grass is laying with her. She's got to be patient enough, though, not to try to carry the ball into the green, because this ball will not have much spin when it hits the ground. She's got to land short to put it in the center of the green.
In the bunker. So, Betsy King by 4. A typical stately golf house, vintage 1920. But this was a unique golf club, the Women's National Golf Club in Glen Cove, Long Island, New York. It was founded, owned, and operated by women. Men could play only as guests. Alas, the club went under during the Depression. Perhaps it's time for the rebirth of a women's golf club. Betsy King is leading the United States Women Open Championship by 4 shots at the moment over Pat Bradley and Lori Garbisi. And here a moment ago was Lori in the bunker at 16.
Good shot.
Not bad, not as good a shot as she played at 12 out of the bunker, but that's a very deep bunker there on the right, Jack.
And Jane Geddes a moment ago. Over 13, the leader trying to get richer.
This putt's only about 4.5 to 5 feet. Very easy putt for Betsy. She hit a marvelous shot. It's going to break slightly from right to left. She could make this one, boy. She could just about start singing the song.
Well, that's what I thought yesterday, Jerry, because this is where she made a 2 to go 7 under. Whoop, didn't do it again today. And then all of a sudden she played 4 over the last 4 holes.
Well, that stroke looked a little nervy, didn't it to you, David?
Yes, that was not the King stroke that we've seen all week, and you can see on the graphic there the first 13 holes all week she's played in 10 under. And as Rhonda said, the last finishing hole she hasn't played near as well during the week.
At the par 3 17th, Pat Bradley.
What a difficult pin position there is on this hole. There are no easy flagstick placements on this hole, I might add. The flag's only 5 feet from the back of the green, and you need to get it up there in order to have a halfway level putt.
Not very good there. I was just thinking, too, if Pat could put one more birdie up there, and if it could just tickle Betsy's mind about the way she hasn't played the last few holes well, might have a slim chance.
Garbisi for par. This was a moment ago. Now we're live as Jane Geddes tries for par on the same hole. And gets it. Wow. So Laurie drops to 1 under in third place now, 1 behind Pat Bradley. Geddes remains even. And the leader at 14.
Hang on.
It's going down the left side. It's going to catch the left rough, but the rough's not too long over there. She shouldn't be in too bad a shape.
Well, she said yesterday she would play aggressively when she got ahead, and we have very narrow landing areas on the tee shots on these final fairways especially. She's been in the rough 2 consecutive times, so she's swinging away.
Nancy Lopez, her third shot at the par 5 15th.
I tell you, Nancy really tagged a 3-wood second shot here, and her little pitch is only about 40 yards as a sand wedge.
Fight.
Up at 18, Joanne Carner finishing up. Joanne is +5.
Two-time Open champion, 5-time Women Amateur champion, and once she won the USGA Girls Junior. 8 titles, second only to Bobby Jones. What a wonderful person she has been in the world of golf, not just for women's golf, but golf as a whole. Joanne Carner, she's a member of just about every Hall of Fame that there is, and what a wonderful performer she's been in USGA championships.
17 and Pat Bradley. Second shot at the par 3.
We saw her shot in at bunker on the right there, Jack, and she's can't tell from here just how close she is. So she's got some room there. You can see how deep the bunkering is here. See the top of the flag. Okay, a good lie there. Just imagine the full follow through and throw the sand out of the bunker. That's not too bad.
Get up the
on
ridge.
that hill there and stay there, and then you can see some of the contour here. It's why it really is a difficult hole to get any kind of makeable birdie putt. A lot of contour in 17 there, Rhonda.
That big swale, David, you can't see how deep it really is, and it's so important to get the ball to the back level where that pin placement is. This is the hole also that Betsy King double bogeyed yesterday, we might remember.
Well, I hope she doesn't remember, but...
I bet she thinks about it when she stands on that tee.
Okay, Nancy Lopez, after a wonderful little pitch in there with a wedge after 2 good shots at this par 5.
Nancy playing very aggressively here. Of course, she has to. 1 under for the day, even par and 6 strokes out. But once again, as in most U.S. Open championships, you'd like to be the first one in the clubhouse with a score under par on that final day.
Well, I think they're going to have to really perform a few miracles first, though, to get to 4 or 5 under maybe, and there's not enough holes left for that. This ball, if it moves, should move to her right. slightly downhill.
And she moves into red figures. Tied now with Penny Hamill at 1 under, who had just finished her round, 4 under today. Lori Garbisi. And here's the leader.
She's in the left-hand rough, 145 yards. Looks like a 7-iron.
That ball came out going to the left, Bob. Going to be a good shot, though. It's on the green from there. It's not bad.
The camera doesn't pick up the undulations on these greens, and we've been saying all week, you just really have some huge mounds to putt over. Here's one with Pat Bradley on 17 green, coming up out of that swale to the top level of the green. You'll see that ball climb.
Just stay in second by herself.
So Bradley will drop down to join the group of Lopez and Garbisi at 1 under and give Betsy King yet some more room to breathe.
And Hamill, who has just finished there with a little nice putt at the last hole.
The USGA was pleased to announce this week that they have appointed David Fay as the executive director of the United States Golf Association. Congratulations, David.
Thank you, Jack.
What are your responsibilities exactly now?
Well, my responsibilities, I'll be the senior staff member of the USGA, and we will be working closely with the committees of the USGA, the Executive Committee and the Women's Committee. We have over 700 committee men and women throughout the United States.
And you have to plan and run all of the USGA tournaments, right?
Yes, we have 13 national championships, including the Women's Open this week. And we're the governing body of golf in the United States, and our purpose remains the same. It has been for nearly 100 years, which is to preserve and promote the best interest of the game and to serve all golfers of this country.
All right. Congratulations, David. We look down at the 17th hole.
Yeah, good luck in that job, too. That is not an easy job. Just the phone calls alone from people wanting rulings and things.
Stay down, go ahead and drive right through it.
You can see the front tee on this hole. That was the original tee, and they decided to move back and lengthen this hole 20 yards to 188 yards.
Hang on. Get down.
Hang on. She has pulled that ball well to the left.
Where?
She is to the left of the green there, and that is not too good.
Now that right-hand side, that bunker where Bradley was a moment ago is a lot better off.
At 16 tee, Nancy Lopez. Off into the left rough. Betsy King.
She's just hoping to get this ball somewhere near the hole. This is a very difficult putt. Boy, she
Another
hit
par, easy on the nerves.
It's just her 13th straight week for Betsy King, and she's got to be tired.
Lori Garbisi, 17. And disappearing into the rough just to the left and front. As we take a look at our scoreboard now, Betsy King, who's had it mostly her own way until yesterday afternoon, but immediately grabbed dominance back today. Okamoto with a 65 today.
Caroline Kagi, the real good rookie player there, Jack. And we get far enough, the low amateur, very nice young lady, Vicky Getz. Shot 300, which is nice playing, and she'll be the low amateur this year in the Open.
Pat Bradley is at the 18th tee. Might have gone too far,
Yeah, just threw that dog leg. That's a problem, too. The course getting very firm.
14, Patty Sheehan, who is having the worst of it today of all of the leaders. She is +5. Everybody else is in minus figures, but Patty is +5. A triple at the 8th set her going. All right, Geddes at 17.
Get up. Yeah.
Super.
That'll go down that swale, won't it? It's
Jack, that was almost a great bunker shot. It just took a little bounce to the right there. If it had stayed up a little more, it would have been right by the hole.
now Garbassi.
As you were saying, David, anything to the left side here is much tougher than the right side. The green slopes away.
Work.
Much tougher to stop the ball.
Well, if you hit it hard enough like Garbassi just did there, you don't have any control over it. She could have lost it easily to the right down there where Geddes went. Needs to make one of these and get in here with 1 under or something. To 1 under is looking good for second place.
Lopez, second shot at 16.
Well, Jack, she's just now taking a look at this shot. Her playing partner is battling with the fescue on the right side of this fairway and has already hit the ball twice and preparing to play her 4th shot.
Donna Wilkins.
Donna Cassano Wilkins. She had gotten to 4 over par earlier in the day and has worked her way back with 2 birdies, but now in trouble again.
Still a great tournament for Donna, though. She doesn't have her playing card, and the past 2 days she's been in the top 10 in this championship.
This is now her 4th play.
There she is.
Finally back to the fairway, but across the fairway now and just ahead of where Nancy's driven the ball.
That's what can happen on this course if you drive it out into that tall grass at fescue.
Now Nancy playing from just about 145 yards. Little breeze from left to right. She is at the bottom of the swale here, but she does have a view of the top of the flag. Looks as though she's taken a 7-iron. Out of some rough, but with a pretty good lie.
She doesn't know how close that is because she can't see the putting surface from there. That was a good guess and a good shot.
This is Geddes a moment ago for par at 17.
She has an elevation of about 4 feet to get up over.
Yeah, she tapped that in for her bogey. And now we go to Garbassi for par. Laurie now will drop to the group at even par.
Well, we've watched 3 players on this 17th hole, and we've seen 3 bogeys. No telling what will happen at the end of this championship.
Betsy King.
that's a lot better drive than yesterday, which is what started her on her bad finish there on this dangerous hole. Let's see, Pat Bradley at 18.
Their first real look at 18 with this half-acre green. Get up the hill, get up, and that'll move away, won't it?
Yep. Good shot, though.
Yeah, very good.
Hole high.
It's about 40 yards from the front of the green to where the hole is cut today. To give you an idea of some of the size of this 24,000 square foot green. Jane Geddes at 18T.
The bunkers that you see on the right don't come into play. Players driving to the top of this hill.
Hole is dogleg to the right. See, had a great 1987, but hasn't won since then.
She's throwing up grass, David. The wind's blowing not terribly hard, but it's left to right. She's trying to pick out a line, trying to figure where to start this drive. I really don't know why she's waiting. She seems to be disturbed by something. She's looking at the tree up here to the left, maybe trying to get a better feel for the wind.
Well, Vicky Fergon hasn't played her second shot at 18 yet, is what the holdup is, so she's waiting for the group ahead to finish.
Now Betsy King.
It's a fairway wood.
Boy, she played it perfectly. Right in the left center of the fairway. Big second shot there. Going to have an easy shot to the green.
That's what she has left. Par 5. Now Geddes is ready.
Got a little to the right there, and it looks as though it stayed in the light rough, though, and you can draw back there and see you're shooting down into this huge green. Just depending on what kind of shot you try to play, you can shoot at the building that you see there, or just down over those bunkers that you see just in the right rough.
Now stay right there.
That's perfect.
Right
Right
at
at
the
the
top.
top of the hill, shooting right down into the hole. That's always somehow or another seemed an easy shot to play downhill, especially at this course where you've had so many uphill second shots or
line shots.
third shots into a green.
Nancy Lopez.
Really misfigured that.
Rhonda had a little chat with Nancy yesterday.
So many things have happened in your life in the last 10 years. How has the role of golf evolved in your life?
Well, golf has, golly, when I first started playing, of course, it was always number one in my life, and that's all I really did. But after I married, golf became second, and then after I had children, it kind of moved on down the line. And now golf is really not that important to me, except to go out and play my best golf when I'm out there on the golf course. But when I go home, I hang up the golf clubs and just really enjoy being another person. But golf has brought a lot of wonderful things into my life, people. especially, and I've just really enjoyed it. And of course, when I'm out there playing, I love it.
All right, Nancy for par now. Remain tied for second.
Very important putt with Bradley up ahead at 18 with a very makeable putt to go 2 under for the tournament, 4 under for the day's round.
Haven't seen too many birdies here. Betsy King birdied it Thursday and Friday. Been an awful lot of bogeys and a couple of 4 putts.
It's that kind of green.
What a comeback year for Pat Bradley after falling to about 107th on the money list in the tour last year, coming back, actually being a contender in this championship that meant so much to her when she won it in 1981. And Pat just having a wonderful year, and she's just thrilled to be playing well again, and especially to be feeling good.
Yeah, that's first and most important there. Missed the cut the last 2 years. Didn't get off to too good a start here, actually, but 68 yesterday, and she makes this putt here. It'll be another 68. 136 is great playing. Last 2 rounds of an Open.
There it is. So Pat Bradley finishing, and Penny Hamill, who has finished at 1 under. They're the best to have completed the 72 holes. But Betsy King, the 5-shot lead at the moment.
Showed a lot of courage after her finish yesterday, and she started right out today and birdied the first hole and birdied 4 out of the first 7 holes. That's a lot of desire on her part, a lot of good play.
Nancy at 17.
That was a 4-iron. The hole playing a little bit downwind at the moment. It's on line, but she's telling it to hurry up.
Get up.
Tra-la-la.
2 beautiful shots on these par 3s on the back 9.
Lori Garbetsy, second at 18.
From 155.
That's the ball. Be that. Be the one. Get over there.
She's going right down into the valley.
She hit a good shot there, Jack. She just hit into that upslope on that hump.
Betsy King at the 15th. And again, a par that didn't take anything out of her nervous system. Jane Geddes at 18.
She has about 150 yards, very much on the downslope. This ball will come out low and should run a lot.
Still go. Go on, ball. Go on.
Boy,
go
it
on.
is hot.
Turn.
Ed.
Oh, man.
We'll return with more golf action from the 1989 United States Women's Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC station. We're back at the 18th at the Women's Open, and let us introduce you to the mysteries of this green. It's not only big, it's bumpy.
A lot of contour here.
And Geddes is going to chip.
Down slope here, but what you do is take a very lofted club, just let the club follow the contour of the ground. Right there, a big break to the right. Not much you can do with it, Jay.
Betsy King at the 16th tee.
Good ball.
Boy, that's a perfect tee shot. That's the toughest driving hole on the golf course. And once again, she's put it right in the middle.
And one thing that makes it a very tough driving hole, you've got a dog leg to the right, and you flirt with the right side. The fairway slopes quite a bit from right to left there, so you've got to land it in the right side of the fairway, actually about a 10-yard area, in order to keep the ball in the fairway. And then you're in a swale where you cannot see the putting surface, so you're shooting somewhat of a blind shot up to green with bunkered on each side by two big bunkers.
Lori Garbisi at 18, her first putt. Wow, she had a marvelous putt here yesterday for birdie, and that almost was a duplicate of it. So Lori Garbisi will finish 1 under today, even for the tournament. Now Nancy Lopez at 17 for birdie to break out of the group tied for second at 1 under.
Little putt that she has to be a little bit careful with. It's downhill. We'll move just a little bit from her right to left.
Yes. And Nancy goes to 2 under. Second place by herself at the moment. Up at 18, Lori Garbisi tapped in for her par.
Nancy's birdied 3 out of the last 5 holes.
As the leaderboard has a slightly different look. Now Geddes at 18 for par. Today for Jan Geddes, finishes at +2 for the tournament. Betsy King's second shot at 16.
That was from 150 yards. Blind shot. What a beautiful shot.
Oh, it is, Rossi. About 8 to 9 feet past the hole.
16th green as we go over now to the 18th tee where Nancy Lopez is. You get a good look at this marvelous golf course. The brown and green.
Great job done by Mark Jackson and his crew, Mark being the superintendent here, and it's really, I've heard very few complaints about the golf course this week.
I haven't heard any.
A little bit about what some people erroneously call heather, which is really the fescue.
Well, Nancy's, I would say, it's knee perfect, didn't she? A level spot, a good angle in. Laura Davies, who double bogeyed the 18 and still shot 66 today. Two players who have won 4 Women's Open titles, the great Mickey Wright, whose swing was a model of grace and efficiency, and Betsy Rawls, a Phi Beta Kappa out of the University of Texas. Betsy Rawls is participating in this year's Women's Open as a member of the USGA Rules of Golf Committee.
We are with Pat Bradley, the 1981 Women's Open champion, who's been struggling the past 2 years because of a thyroid condition. And Pat, you missed the cut the previous 2 years, had a wonderful 68 today. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rhonda. It really felt pretty good. I was in the right spots at the right time and made some pretty good putts out there. And to be 1 under after the disappointment of the last 2 years, I'm thrilled to be back in the Open and playing the way I'm playing.
You've really had a wonderful year. You won another tournament, you're back. Your family has been named the American Golf Family of the Year. I know it's meant a great deal to you after 2 very slow years.
Yes, you know, when it rains, it pours, and it's just nice to be recognized. It's nice to have my family recognized because they are avid golfers and they're tremendous supporters of me. And just to be back and to be playing the way I know I can be playing and should be playing really takes a weight off my shoulders.
Well, the 68 today was wonderful, and you're in the clubhouse in very good position. Did you ever feel at any time today that if you made a run at it, that you might actually have a chance to win this?
Well, you know, there's always that hope, but, you know, Betsy is such a strong player, and, you know, my problem was the first 2 days. That's where I basically missed the boat. I came back strong like I usually do in most tournaments, but I didn't get off to a very good start, and unless
36 on the front 9.
Right, unless Betsy breaks a leg between now and coming in, I doubt seriously.
All right, 5 birdies on the backside. Great show, Pat. And back to Jack Whitty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. Pat, as we look down here at 18, and the gallery now coming in from all over the course to circle this tremendous green. This is Lopez and Wilkins.
Nancy's second shot will be played from just a little bit better than 150
133 and
yards.
39, 172. 63 to carry the
yardage pretty
ridge
different
on
than
the
what I
other
thought.
side.
Maybe I should recheck. I'm sure he's more accurate than I am. He says 172.
72 on the little fine. Side hill.
It's fine. As long as we slide up on that ridge, which is, you can get 6 up there, unless your feet aren't comfortable. A little above it there.
She said a little 5. He said he thinks she can get there with a 6. She's made 4 birdies in the last 6 holes. She just got started a little bit late.
Putting well on fast greens, too, Judy. We didn't expect that.
I tell you, Rhonda, she's hit the ball close to the hole. That's why she's made birdies. Hang on. Kick left. Get up there. The ball listens when you're playing good, I think.
While that was happening, it was Betsy King at 16. Now that puts her to 7 under. 5-shot lead. And the fat lady may have sung.
She is certainly clearing her throat very firmly. As we look at this next hole that King group will be going to, par 3, 188 yards. You see the big bunker on the right there. Green with a lot of slope to it, and left is no place to be. If you miss here, that bunker on the right is the best place to put your shot.
All right, look out there. It does remind one of Scotland, where we'll all be next week to bring you coverage of the British Open as the defending champion Seve Ballesteros leads an international field at the Royal Troon Golf Club. Coverage begins here on ABC on Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Nancy Lopez. Betsy King at 17.
Playing slightly downwind. A little shorter than usual.
That ball's down the left side. Sit down. Well, it's over the green. Shouldn't be too bad, though.
Betsy has been rock solid up to here. I've never seen her play any better.
Okay, this is a hole yesterday that caused her a little trouble, and once again she looks as though she's aimed to the right. Gets the club back, maybe not quite as much inside as you want to get. Now she's going to come down and over the ball a little bit. You heard Jones's tip a little earlier. When you do that with a good player, generally they'll pull it a little more than they intend to or hook the ball, and that's what got her on the left side of the green there.
Patty Sheehan.
Patty just made 6 at 16 from right in the middle of the fairway, and her game has just disintegrated. The 7 at the 8th hole was a killer. A lot of people came out expecting to see a great head-to-head duel between these two, and it just went completely apart at number 8.
Well, this green is really hard today. This hole playing downwind, and the balls are hitting on the front, rolling all the way through.
All right, let's go to Rhonda Glenn.
And we're with Lori Garbassi, who had a wonderful 1 under par round today. Boy, you were charging out there, Lori, as always.
Well, I kind of lost it there. When in Salem, I didn't win because I was a little bit too tentative. And then today, I had a chance, and I got too aggressive on a couple holes and got above the pin, so that's what cost me. Then a couple bogeys coming in, but it was just fun to be there.
You have only been in contention once in the Women's Open, and that was in Salem. Did you learn anything at that time that you applied today?
Well, besides what I already said about being a little too tentative, I got a little too aggressive on a couple holes, and then, you know, I didn't make a bogey all day, and in Salem I played the last round without a bogey, so I knew I could do it, but I just didn't make enough birdies today.
All right, Lori, terrific round for you today. Did you ever feel that you had a chance to win this thing?
I really did when I got to 2 under and knew that if I could make I felt like if I could make about 3 more birdies and get to 5, it would put a lot of pressure on Betsy coming in. But, you know, I have to do it too, and she has to play those holes, and it just didn't happen for me, but I tried my best.
All right, good showing in the Women's Open, and back to Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Oh, some of the many lakes that dot this area of Michigan. Big boating country, big fishing country, big hunting country.
Yes, it is.
Well, on July 30th, an extraordinary expedition will begin, and ABC Sports will be there. 6 men are going to embark on a 7-month, 4,000-mile crossing of the Antarctic continent. The first crossing using man and sled dog power alone. The first 5 special broadcasts can be seen Sunday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ABC Sports. Looking at the 18th green as Donna Wilkins finishes up for par.
Daughter of a golf professional. Good tournament. Had a good round today, but I hope she'll be back again and do a little better.
Betsy King.
This is not a really tough pitch shot. She's taking a sandwich out. She's going to just loft up underneath the ball and let it flop on the green. Well, she's hit it a little hard, but it's got a little bit too much of the ball, but still a very conservative shot. All she needs to do is get it on and make 4.
Going back out.
Nancy Lopez at 18. Right beneath the hole.
Got 2 putts here, and she's going to finish second by herself. Her second place finish in a U.S. Open.
2 under on the tournament in second place.
Well, at the beginning of the week, she said she thought even par would win the championship, and she beat that by 2 strokes and winds up at this point being 5 behind.
Betsy at 17 for par.
But she knew as soon as she hit that putt, she was just laying it up. She came right up off of it. David, I would think even now, big lead, she's still got a lot of nerves jumping around in her body.
Oh, you know that, Jerry. You've been there.
There we go. Here was Patty's chip shot there. And she tapped that in for par. Now they go to 18, and Betsy King will have a lovely walk home in the evening.
What a nice finishing hole it is, too. And there are a tremendous number of people around this green, as you'll see in a second. Dogleg to the right. You can see the building there just ahead down the right side of the fairway is somewhat your aim here, depending on whether you're trying to play a left to right or a straight shot. Best position, I think, is up at the top of the hill, shooting down into this green. And we've said, 24,000 square feet. That's the biggest green they've ever had in a USGA championship, if I understand.
Colleen Walker.
That's from 160 yards, Jack. She has pulled it to the left side. She was playing a 7-iron, expected the ball to jump a little bit. It didn't. She pulled it safely on the green.
Now there's the green at 18, and we'll take you backwards to the tee. That's the 10th hole to the left above there. And there is the 18th tee. Betsy King can ride it home with a 4-stroke lead.
Patty has to go home and just say it was just one of those bad days that you have, because she's certainly played well enough, gotten herself into position the last 2 years. She says it won.
That's a nice tee shot there. Patty showed a lot of class today, David, after that number 8.
Betsy King has driven the ball as well as anybody I've seen in a long time. She has hit every fairway, just put it right down the fairway every time. Missed it at 14 just in the left-hand rough, but in a perfect location.
Walk it on, Betsy.
Well, Rossi, that's a big tee shot there. Might even be, no, just perfect, right to the left side of the fairway.
We'll return with more golf action from the 1989 United States Women's Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Indianwood Golf and Country Club and the United States Women's Open, which is about to conclude under beautiful summer skies here in Michigan. It has been quite an up week for women's golf.
Certainly has that, Jack, and what a week for Betsy King as we look ahead to the very fine French star, lives in Spain, Natalia.
I think we'll hear a lot more of this young lady.
If she chooses to play here, we'll hear about her, because she's very impressive. She's been their leading money winner in 1988 and has already won 3 events in '89 on the European Women's Tour. Beautiful touch down that hill.
Started out fine first few holes this morning and then slowed up a bit.
Well, I just think Betsy took control of this with those 4 birdies in the first 7 holes. She just jumped right out and said, come get me if you can. And they couldn't.
Now Colleen Walker, who also hit a brick wall today. She was in contention last year too, to a final, to the back 9.
Going to finish tied for 9th. Still a good tournament, 286.
Back in the fairway, Patty Sheehan and Betsy King.
Betsy's ready to play from just about 170 yards, just short of 170.
She started it down the left side, needs a big bounce to get up to the flag, and it's not going to do it.
Very interesting putt.
Yeah, but she's got a whole bunch of them, though. She can do that. And what a year. This would be her 5th tournament victory. And Jack, with the victory here, will set a new season record, and it's just July 16th.
For money earnings.
Over 500,000.
Patty Sheehan from the same distance. Balls were right together.
That ball also is going to be short. Right on line, just not enough club.
And rolling down the hill into the valley. Well, we have some interesting news from the senior tour, don't we, Dave Warren?
We certainly do, and a very pleasant surprise as we see Betsy walk up. John Paul Kane, a stockbroker from Houston who didn't turn pro until he was 50 years old, shot 66 and won the tournament at Grand Rapids. Charlie Sifford finishing 2nd. That's great. Dave
And
Hill,
look-
as you see, local Michiganite.
Next week now, we'll all be over at Troon for the British Open. Seve Ballesteros defending a great international field, and coverage begins here Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time on ABC Sports. Well, here comes your champion.
You could see the relief there. As I said earlier in the week, there's a lot of good players here, whether you're talking about Lopez or King, that are great, great players that have not won an Open. And it would be a shame if any of them do not win a U.S. Open, because that is so important in your golf career. A lot of thoughts going through her head now as she walks up to take a look at this. Jack, you think of a lot of people, whether it's your family or people that have helped you. As Rhonda said earlier in the week, she went to Ed Ofield to give her some ideas on swing keys or tips for the week. When you win, you owe thanks to a lot of different people.
Well, let's give you some scores now. While we wait for Patty Sheehan to line up her putt.
Once again, Okamoto's great round today of 65. Defending champion Neumann there, you just saw, postal weight. Amy Alcott, a former champion. Well, I think that just kind of typifies Patty's day there.
Been a long day for her. Dave Hutton.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jack, to me, this is like one of those times when the football coach doesn't show you the game films. I mean, you just didn't do anything right last week. Let's don't look at that. Let's concentrate on what got her in position to win the tournament.
Fans are great, aren't they?
Been a wonderful group of people here this week. Very, very nice, appreciative of the golf.
All right, now to put a period to it. Clinch the U.S. Open Women's Championship.
Even has a good arm.
Standing ovation here. Betsy King is the new champion, and we'll be back to talk with Betsy King and with Nancy Lopez in just a moment. Like the rest of American society, golf is finally recognizing that women deserve both equal opportunity and responsibility. Two of the game's power elite are pioneers of a sort. Judy Bell is the first woman member of the USGA Executive Committee. Alice Dye is the first woman to be elected to the American Society of Golf Course Architects. And Scotland the Brave reverberates off the clubhouse here as we get ready for the presentation ceremonies to crown King the Queen. And right now, let's go over to Rhonda Glenn.
Boy, that's inspiring. It's hard not to watch, isn't it, Nancy?
Yeah.
Nancy Lopez, runner-up once again in the Women's Open. What a wonderful round today. 4 birdies in the last 7 holes. You really gave it everything you had.
Well, I played real well the backside. On the front side, I hit a lot of greens, but I had a lot of 25, 30 footers, and you just can't make those on these greens for birdie unless you get a little bit lucky. But I was real pleased with the way I finished up and very excited. A little disappointed, of course, but I tell you, the fans were great walking up that 18th green.
Well, I know you felt at the beginning of the week that even par would win this championship. You beat that by 2, still fell a little bit short, but I'm sure next year you'll give it another great shot.
Well, I'll tell you, the last 2 Opens, I have felt really, really pleased with my game. I have found the patience I need to win a U.S. Open, and I think I just keep learning every year, but I know the last 2 years have really been my best, so I'm really looking forward to next year, and of course it's in Georgia, and that's where I'm from, so I hope that next year will be mine.
And I think you've dispelled that rumor that you can't putt fast greens as of today.
I had a lot of fast putts today, and I putted very well. I think what happens is it's not really the greens. You just have to hit them close enough to make enough birdies, and if you don't, you're going to make those bogeys. But I was able to pull it out on the backside, and I was really pleased. I cannot really be disappointed, except, you know, I just have to say to my dad, sorry, Dad, but maybe next year.
All right. Well, you were all over the flag today as we take a look at your scorecard there, seeing those 4 red figures on the back 9. Just a terrific Women's Open for you, Nancy, and I know one of these days it might fall your way.
Thank you.
Right now, we'd like to mention a most beloved member of the LPGA, and that's Heather Farr. And Heather is going to go into some very serious surgery tomorrow in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, California. It's a very difficult operation, but Nancy, I know you'd like to join me in wishing Heather well.
I sure would. Heather, all the players are thinking about you. Our prayers are with you. Hang in there and keep up those good high spirits.
And Heather, I might say also that when you go in there tomorrow, you're not going to be alone because we're all with you. Back to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you, ladies. Now we'll give you some alphabetical scores. Pick out your favorite. From Albers.
And you see the low amateur Vicky Getz there. 16 over, 300. Betsy King, of course, the winner. Good-looking player. Not a good day for Patty Sheehan, but she can play. She ought to know that. Paula Stacey, a 3-time winner of the U.S. Open.
All the way to Pamela Wright. Now, with the new champion, here is Rhonda Glenn.
The 1989 U.S. Women's Open champion, Betsy King. Betsy, you did it. What does it mean to you to finally get this title?
Well, I've been up there a few other times, and I wasn't sure what would happen today. I'm just so happy that I played well, and I'm very obviously excited and happy to win the Open. And I'm sure my dad's enjoying the bagpipes. He's a bagpipe fan, a little bit of Scottish blood, so it's kind of a neat ending. I didn't even know it was going to happen.
Well, I'm sorry you're missing all the music, but you came out here today, you got off to a great start, you threw some birdies at the competition right off the bat.
Yeah, I really think the putting was the difference. I putted so well really over the 4 days, and today I made a couple long putts early on, and I hit a lot of greens. The only green that I missed that I didn't putt on was 17, and they can blow up that hole, or I need to get a new game for it. I haven't handled it very well, but I was happy just to play solidly the whole way around.
All right, we'll take a look at your scorecard now and talk about your round a little bit. I know you said yesterday when you finished that you were very nervous because you've been in contention for the last 5.5 weeks, and certainly that's a great strain on the nerves. How did you try to deal with that?
Well, I think, yesterday was the day to have a bad day. If you're going to do it on Saturday instead of Sunday. And I just, today I wanted to go out and play well, but of course everybody does. And, you just kind of hope it's your day, and that's what it ended up to be. I don't think there's anybody out here that is that much better than anyone else, and you just kind of hope that it's going to be your day. And I started out, I hit driver 4-wood to the first hole, knocked it on in 2, and kind of gave myself an easy birdie to start out the round, and I was real happy with it.
Well, you have certainly dominated the tour this year, though. This is your 5th victory of the year. And what context do you think the Women's Open will be in your career?
Well, obviously, up until this point in my career, it's my biggest win. I've had one other major championship, the Dinah Shore, and certainly the Open, I've played in it so many times, you almost feel like you're going to win because you get to play in it so many times that somewhere along the way you're going to have a good chance, and I'm just happy that I cashed in on this one.
Well, you've certainly proven that you're a champion, and I see a little extra sparkle in those bright blue eyes. So congratulations, Betsy King, our 1989 U.S. Women's Open champion.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Back to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. Betsy King, the champion, a 4-shot win over Nancy Lopez in this 1989 Women's Open. Now we have a little announcement from our colleague, Frank Hannigan. Frank?
The Walker Cup match between amateur teams representing the United States and Great Britain is golf's oldest international match. Today, the USGA named its 10-man team for the 1989 match, which will take place August 16 and 17 at the Peachtree Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia. The match will be seen on ABC Sports on Saturday, August the 19th, beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time. The members of the American team are Alan Doyle of LaGrange, Georgia, David Eager, Ponte Vedra, Florida, Robert Gamez of Las Vegas, Ralph Howe of West Sayville, New York, Kevin Johnson, Pembroke, Massachusetts, Dougie Martin, Van Buren, Ohio, Eric Meeks, Walnut, California, Phil Mickelson of San Diego, Jay Siegel of Berwyn, Pennsylvania, and Danny Yates of Atlanta, Georgia. It's the first international team ever to have 2 left-handed golfers because that's what Howe and Mickelson are. And if nothing else, the team should certainly know the rules of golf because one of them, David Eager, is the boss of the PGA Tour field staff.
It was Betsy King's day all along. She dominated even when she strayed from the fairway. And that happened only once. Pat Bradley came and finished with a brilliant 68, 2 days in a row, just a little short. And Nancy with a brilliant back 9, but Betsy King was too far out in front for anybody to catch her.
Jane Geddes had a good tournament. Former Open champion, and of course Betsy King, the winner, Jack. Great scores she shot here.
And dominating the women's tour in 1989.
New money record and U.S. Open
Was it
champion.
just my imagination, Dave, or do you think, I know the distance and power are very exciting, and I like them too, but sometimes we lose sight of the nuances in this game, and I think we saw a lot of that today. Good iron play this week, pitching, chipping, and that thing.
Jack, one thing I think this summer of major golf tournaments has shown us, all the things you say are right, but you cannot measure a person's heart. And I think if you measured Curtis Strange's heart this year in Rochester and Betsy King here today, you'd get 2 very large heavyweight hearts indeed.
You indeed. Very gallant attempts by both of them. For all of us at ABC Golf, this is goodbye from Lake Orion, Michigan. The executive producer of the 1989 United States Women's Open is Jeffrey Mason. Today's golf was produced by Terry Jastrow, directed by Jim Jeanette, replay director Bob Lanning, technical directors Werner Gunther and Gary Larkins. Associate producers Ben Harvey and Jim Ressler. Associate Director Jaime Bravo.